So I'm Mindy from My Time for Change.
And I'm Emma from My Time for Change and Emma Wilson Fitness.
We're going to chat today just about, from a My Time for Change point of view, understanding obviously everybody's world's just been turned upside down this week with going into isolation and suddenly educating your children and all the other plethora of things such as working from home, etc., which may be different for people. So I'm just going to talk to Emma about how her world's turned upside down in the last week, and maybe some hints and tips that she has for us all in managing some of this. So Emma, so what's changed for you in the last week?
Well, firstly, having to speak to you like this. This is one of the things that's changed. Normally, obviously, we have the ability to just be able to, have a meeting normally, in each of us homes, in our, makeshift offices, which are kitchens and bedrooms. So I think the first thing that's changed for me, and I think the whole of the nation really, is that physical contact with people, that kind of ability to be able to see and feel and touch, and that tactility, that closeness. In terms of the rest of my world, yes, it's completely changed with obviously classes can't take place outside or inside for that matter, in groups. I think most of us have become teachers and homeschoolers and childminders and cleaners and ironers and all the things that we probably were before, but we're probably now having to juggle loads.
Yeah. So in terms of what are you doing, first of all, in terms of your classes then, if now obviously you can't take them outside or work in groups, what change have you had to make there for your Emma Wilson Fitness classes?
Well, I personally felt that structure was really important to keep in everybody's life. I think we all like routine, and the first thing that happened as of Monday night was people's routines were completely thrown out of whack. So to be able to have kept people with some sense of normality, some feeling or some sense of being able to still do what they want to be able to do, that they've not lost areas of their life that they wanted to keep, for mental health, really. Actually, exercise is really about mental health. So I very quickly put that online for everybody. It wasn't perfect to begin with. I'm sure it's not perfect now, but it's as close to the class that we can actually get.
I've been personally involved in all of those classes, and for me, having that structure and routine has been invaluable. Just because I get comfort now because of the whole story behind My Time for Change for me, but I get comfort from putting lycra and leggings on every morning, and if I still wasn't able to do that, I think I'd be a bit more lost, perhaps is the right thing, in terms of obviously where this last week has gone. So the fact that you've given people structure, and I believe from what you've said, some of the feedback that you've had as well, is that people are finding it as something stable and something amongst the turmoil, if you like.
Yeah, and Emma Wilson Fitness is my fitness classes, but My Time for Change was born out of wanting to feel as healthy physically, emotionally and mentally as you can, and exercise is a massive part of that. And My Time for Change is also about looking at all aspects of life and lifestyle. And I think that whether you exercised or not in the past, everybody's having to now look at their own life and lifestyle, because the things that we maybe took for granted or that we did do, maybe we can't. I think that the way that people eat, the way that people buy, the way that they're having to manage and plan, because we're now perhaps limited with how much we can replenish our food, all of that My Time for Change addressed anyway. And so the people that are kind of already on the My Time for Change program probably haven't felt quite as fearful or as scared or as anxious I'm not saying they haven't felt all those things, but they perhaps haven't felt quite as, because what My Time for Change does is, first of all, it's a wonderful, positive community. The life hacks that I provide and give, and other people also give, for managing all aspects of life, um, are in there. And so being around other people that are always looking to flip whatever is going on doesn't mean it goes away, but we're looking to flip it round to a positive. We're looking to maybe not brush it under the carpet and tackle maybe some of the things, that the reasons why we do things, the reasons why we do what we do, but also learning. My Time for Change, the way that we eat is we everything's available. There's nothing that's not available, but we also understand, and it's also there to educate, what will nourish, what will fill you, and what will stop you having those urges and desires for other things, which those comforts that we want, whether it's your packet of crisps, whether it's more chocolate, whether it's your caffeine, whether it's your alcohol, they're all triggered by stress. And that's what everybody has been under this week. It's stress. And so, yeah, of course, we're all gravitating towards those things that make us feel better. But what My Time for Change does is help you manage that and understand, when it's okay and what you're doing it for, but actually to make that balance, because we can't afford to be unhealthy and unhappy during this time. We don't know how long this is going to be like this for. So we have to be and give and invest to be as healthy as we can. We don't want to be going to the GP. We don't want to be ill or injured. And nor do we want to get, drown ourselves in drink or eat our way through the entire contents of your treat cupboard.
It is a little bit tempting sometimes right now, but
don't get me wrong, because we will still be doing it. Yeah, we do it, but My Time for Change isn't about not having stuff. It's about not having it too much too often.
Yeah. So that you've collapsed on the sofa with all your wine around you. Yeah. I think for me, it does give that sense of there's a little bit of control in terms of that you feel in control of your health. You understand your body better. That you can, I suppose, in some ways, understand signals where you may be becoming. I don't know. Maybe even if there's elements of perhaps you might be fighting a cold, but you can recognize those. Anything so you feel at your peak of health, so that you're able to take on potentially whatever health issue might be floating about right now as well, I think. But
being in tune with your body absolutely allows you to recognize what changes and what's going on, so that stress in life longer doesn't go away, but it perhaps alters how you approach them and how you handle them.
I mean, I'll come on to obviously some of the life hacks that you put out there for us all. But I shared with you something yesterday, which it is sort of mildly amusing. So obviously, for My Time for Change, we focus on women going through the perimenopause on a great scale. And someone was describing the symptoms that they felt from the coronavirus, that they felt that they'd had the coronavirus a few weeks ago. There's no evidence of that just yet, but some of the symptoms were the fact that they was having strange flushes and feeling hot at different times, that they had brain fog, and then just felt lethargic and tired for 3 weeks. And actually at that point, I just forwarded it to you and just said, actually, what's the difference between this and the perimenopause?
There's a massive overlap between, people are feeling, low, and we're feeling, really stressed, and we're feeling all of these things, but actually there's a very big overlap. And actually some of the symptoms might just be the perimenopause, and actually not the fact that you're feeling it because of what's going on. But it's And
I suppose that leads into
gotta keep finding a happy side and a funny side.
Absolutely, yeah, totally. I mean, I can name a whole host of positive things that have come out, like of our change of circumstances. Yes, I'm a massive hugger, and I do miss obviously hugging you every day. But there are things on our to-do list in terms of the technology and trying some of this stuff that we've been forced to talk to each other in this format and do.
Yeah, massively out of my comfort zone.
Yeah,
Massively out of both of our comfort zones.
which was why it was so far down our to-do list, but actually it became at the top of our to-do list really quickly in the last 10 days. And that has just proves that actually, you can make adjustments, and, as humans, we can do things. But in terms of some of the life hacks that you offer us for the perimenopause, keep going to say perimenopause, but the perimenopause.
That's too much early drinking in the day.
Yes, yeah, it says. No, it's not. The some of the life hacks that you offer everybody for the perimenopause actually are applicable in terms of, because it's about managing anxiety and stopping and thinking about things. Can you just give us maybe a couple of the examples of what sort of hacks and tips that you offer, the My Time for Change community, that actually we could put out there as being some helpful for being put into isolation, if you like?
Yeah, I mean, it's tricky because everybody's situation is different. However, we are all in the same boat. But I think that what I said before was about trying to keep some structure to your day so that you feel that you've got an element of control. So we control what we can control and manage what we can manage, and looking after ourselves is the one thing that we're still able to do. So to have some structure so that you know what you're doing and that you feel that you have a plan is one thing. I think that planning your weekly meals is a good thing, and they're not set in stone, but they allow you to then at least understand what's likely to be eaten, and then you're not going to drift into things falling into your mouth through boredom or anything else. I think that writing things down, I know it sounds really old-fashioned, it can be hugely helpful in terms of writing down how you feel, writing down the big rocks, the little rocks, the pebbles, and then not thinking that you have to do it all. And just maybe, that list, we not expect, we all, I don't know about you, but I really enjoy putting lines through things when I've done them.
This.
Yeah, really enjoy a list. But it's also stressful when that list doesn't get any shorter. So when you've got a whole list, think of the things that you can actually do. Maybe just pick 3 of them. And then rather than leave the ones at the bottom that we don't really want to do, maybe it's now the time that we can actually do them, because maybe some of us have got more time. Maybe some of us have got the freedom to do some of those things. So just keep moving them up and just try and do a few things every day. I think that whilst the perimenopause is something that is going to happen, I think to have more knowledge about it makes it a bit less scary. But some of the things in terms of what hinders and what helps, then it's not it's not it's not necessarily the perimenopause that makes you sick around the middle, but what it does do is it triggers a different appetite, and it forces you, because of how you're feeling, you might be feeling low and you might be feeling anxious and you might be feeling out of sorts, that your choices and what you gravitate towards are different. And then that's what ultimately, and then normally the higher carb, higher sugar things. I would, I think that, we all want chocolate in our life. Well, I do. We all want some alcohol in our life. Well, I do. I don't like anything to be off limits, and nothing is. But I also know that it's not helpful for someone in the perimenopause to be drinking lots of alcohol. We just can't handle it the same way we used to. Different for a guy, They can continue drinking the same as they did in their 20s and their 30s into their 50s, 40s, 50s and 60s. But a woman hitting 40 and above, when we flippantly say, God, I can't deal with a hangover anymore. No, we can't. Our body is changing and it can't deal with that alcohol or that sugar too much too often, and then it affects sleep, and then we all know what happens when we don't sleep, or our sleep's interrupted anyway.
So obviously there are similarities in terms of the perimenopause, as we said, and also the anxiety and feeling stress. So right now everybody is probably looking towards their fridge and their treat cupboard more frequently and perhaps have done all week. So as you lead into the weekend, what is, for people, what is the difference between this week and the weekend now?
I think it's a really interesting time. I think that, ordinarily, we've got a Monday to Friday, people have their rules, you hear it all the time. I'm really good Monday to Friday, and then hit Friday night, out comes the G&T, or I'm super strict in the week, and you don't even think about having a drink in the week. But I absolutely know that this week people are saying, yeah, actually, I had a glass of wine when I wouldn't normally, or I've had chocolate when I wouldn't normally, or doing things differently, because it feels like a bit of a bank holiday. It feels like we're a bit kind of, because we're with the people in our own four walls that we're not normally around during the day, or we normally have them at weekend or on holiday. So it's interesting whether or not, I think people will fall into two camps. You'll get the people that kind of go, actually, it's weekend, I'm not at the pub with my mates and I've got nowhere to be and I've got nowhere to go, so actually don't really need the drink. And then you have the other camp that that they need that as a form of reward or joy or contentment. All I will say is that the best feeling is in the world is that first drink. We never get it from the second, third or fourth. So we're always chasing that feeling. The same when you have your Galaxy bar or your chocolate biscuit. That first one's the best one. Yeah. The rest of it is just because you can. Yeah. So yeah, I think that it does. The weekend might not feel the same, particularly if you've done stuff this week that you wouldn't normally do. Maybe the car's already washed, maybe the lawn's already cut, maybe the ironing's already done, maybe the bathrooms are already cleaned. Maybe you've already had the G&T, maybe you've already had your treat, and you kind of go, oh, right, tonight doesn't mean the same. Doesn't Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday day. But it's about finding contentment and finding a new way of a thrill and a sense of, enjoying myself without going out.
Yeah. Ace. Okay. Thank you, Emma. I think...
I hope it's been helpful.
Yeah, no, I think, I don't know, I think my time for change just massively is going to help so many people, and the feedback we've already had in the group and in the community is to say, I'm signing up again because this is my normality, this is my sense of being part of something, this is keeping, where everything else is spinning around me, this is keeping me going. So Ace, thanks Emma, and
thank you. And hopefully we'll get to see each other soon.
A virtual hug, everybody.